Hello there. Welcome to B Shifter. John Vance here. And on this podcast, Josh Blum, Nick Brunacini, and I will be talking about some great radio traffic that we are in possession of from Cobb County, Georgia. These company officers and commanders do an excellent job on rapidly changing conditions at an apartment fire using the 8 functions of command. At the end of this podcast, we're going to tell you how you can submit your radio traffic to us for us to highlight and for others to learn from. So glad you're here to share this experience with us on B Shifter. People love our radio traffic when we have great radio traffic that's submitted to us. And today we have a great example of, multiple things going on. What's going on with this one, Josh?
Yeah, so this audio we have was sent to us from Cobb County, Georgia. Before I jump into that the Atlanta metro area has really jumped on board with Blue Card here in the last 3 to 5 years, probably for the most part. There's been people doing it, on and off before that, but last 3 to 5 years, it's really taken off. So around there, Cobb County, Hall County, Cherokee County, City of Covington, City of Smyrna, Sandy Springs, Alpharetta, North Fulton County area, Milton, City of Woodstock, Johns Creek, and I'm missing some. Those are just the ones that I, off the top of my head, that recent contact with, whatever. So this incident was sent to us after one of their battalion chiefs listened to a podcast that we put out and had some audio in it, and said, "Hey, I got something to share and would like you to listen to it." And so it's a working fire in a multifamily apartment complex. Pretty good amount of fire, it sounds like, on arrival. Their deployment they got a pretty standard deployment package, and we'll hear that. They send a pretty good bolus on the front end to solve the problem and get a couple chiefs so that they can set up sector division ops and really build out a system. But the system really starts with that first new company, though. So we'll hear a piece of that, and then the great thing is we hear several times in this them use command function 7, like reevaluating what's going on, and then a lot of risk management happening. And at the end of it, they end up making a strategic shift. They gave it a good shot, did what they could do, got all clears of livable space, and at the end, it's a almost textbook strategic shift that they go through. So let's listen to it and we'll break it down, talk about it.
Engine 2, your first due in for a commercial fire. Engine 54, Engine 7, Engine 10, Truck 19, Truck 4, Rescue 5, Squad 7, Battalion 2, Battalion 5, your support. It's going to be a commercial fire at 34 Osborne Road, 34 Osborne Road. The building is on fire. Respond and acknowledge on Fireground 1. Respond and acknowledge on Fireground 1.
Battalion 5 on Fireground 1. Wait and upgrade responding units.
10-4 upgrading responding units. Engine 7, Battalion 2, checking your response.
Battalion 2 response.
10-4, all units clear on your response. Engine 2 is first due in. Engine 2, Engine 54, Engine 7, Engine 10, Truck 19, Truck 4, Rescue 5, Squad 7, Battalion 2, and Battalion 5. Report of a commercial fire at 34 Osborne Road, Shepherd's Walk Apartments, advising that one of the neighbors' apartment was on fire. It's going to be the Shepherd Walk apartment. They're advising flames are visible and they're clear to evacuate. Upgrade your response.
Engine 2 radio.
Engine 2, go ahead.
We've got a large header visible. Go ahead and upgrade all units.
10-4, large visual, upgrade all units.
Engine 2, the second due unit. The hydrant is going to be at the front of the complex. Need you to lay in.
Engine 54, Engine 2.
Engine 2 radio.
Engine 2, go ahead.
Engine 2 is going to be on scene. We got a 2-story apartment complex. We got heavy fire coming from the first floor. Engine 2 will have command, out doing a walk around.
10-4 on scene, 2-story apartment complex, heavy fire from the first floor. Engine 2 has command, doing a walk around.
Rescue 30 to Battalion 1. Rescue 30 to Battalion 1. Rescue 30 is Battalion 2. Battalion 1 is not on the run. Do you want to pick it up? 10-4, they were showing us out of service. We are in service. We're right behind Engine 30 en route. 10-4, radio, return Rescue 5 to service.
10-4, Rescue 30 on the call. Rescue 5, you can go in service.
Command radio for an update.
54 to command.
Command go.
We're dropping at the hydrant. We're going to be laying into you.
10-4, when you get up here, I'm going to need your crew to be searched.
54 on search. Clear.
Command to radio for an update.
Command, go ahead.
Update. It's going to be 3 in the front, 2 in the back. Fire is on the second floor. Engine 1, 2. Engine 2 is going to be fire attack right.
Radio Battalion 5 is on the scene. Battalion 5 to command.
Great.
Battalion 5 to command.
Command go. Command.
Okay, Bobby. I see you got a working fire. I'm here with you on engine 2. You've got one line in operation. And engine 54 is handling your water supply. If that's correct, give me a can report. Looks like you got heavy fire on the first floor as well as the second floor.
That's the third. We've got heavy fire on the second floor as well. Third floor. Third rack.
Engine 10 to command.
Okay, I'm clear, engine 2. I'm going to be taking it from here. Battalion 5 to radio. I'll be assuming Osborne command. We're going to be in the offensive strategy. We've got one line in operation. Water supply is underway. Break. Command to engine 10. Go ahead with your traffic.
Yeah, so I think that we can talk about the front end of that, a little bit, what was going on. So they pulled up, obvious working fire, he identified the second floor. He was out doing a walk around, and their system, he identified that engine was right behind them. And with technology that we have today and, people using some of this, geofencing and like when is the unit actually going to be there, and they can see that they are actually right behind them and all of that. So, he put that out there as kind of a alert that the second unit, you're going to pick the hydrant up. So he identified that water supply piece coming in, and then nobody really acknowledged that. But then engine 54 came back and verified to command that they had their water supply and that they were landed in. So I think that's an important thing. And within systems, we talk about in Blue Card, people from Boston to Riverside, California, and, Seattle area, Olympia to Miami-Dade, do Blue Card. So, some of the terminology, verbiage, just has to fit in a line for their region. And then the deployment, it looks different almost everywhere. So, I just like talking about that because it's real traffic from a real incident, with some stuff happening. So after that walk around, identifies some further information that there's not fire just on one floor, there's fire on multiple floors. Identified, there's clearly, it's built on a hillside or something because it's 2 on one side and 3 on the other side. So, what is the basement? Where's the fire really at? And then we get to that point where the battalion gets there and there's really just one unit working at that point. Verified engine 54 was bringing that water supply, and they have a command transfer, just making sure that everybody was on the same page. And the command transfer doesn't just end with the battalion getting the information from the current incident commander, but it goes all the way to that battalion keying up, letting dispatch know what's going on, putting that out over his radio of this is what we're doing. This is what we've done. This is the strategy that we're in. Then everybody inbound hears that. And then everybody also knew now that Battalion 5 was in command and that he was on the alpha side of the building. So, it was set up pretty good on the front end. And, if you were going down a check sheet, did they check every single box? But, no. But I think you could sit here and identify what was really going on there. And there were some task location and objective pieces to that and what work needed to be done and what was going to happen. So I think from there we can, just keep it rolling.
Man, we're going to be on the hydrant. Our crew's going to be ready for an assignment. I got my driver here on the flood.
Okay, I'm clear. Report on deck, alpha side.
10-4 outside on deck. Engine 7, level 1 with 3.
Tower.
Rescue 30, level 1 with 2.
Tower.
Squad 7, level 1 with 5.
Tower.
Command to engine 54.
Go ahead.
Personnel do you have?
3 personnel.
Just stand by, complete the water supply. Break, command to engine 10.
And go ahead.
Go all in search.
And clear, all in search.
Water supply is connected. Send it.
Command engine 7.
Engine 7.
Yeah, you're going to pull the second cross layoff at engine 10, back up fire control on the alpha side.
Offer.
Second line alpha side. Commander squad 7.
Go ahead.
Deck alpha side. Commander rescue 30.
Rescue 30.
Take medical alpha side.
Clear.
54 command. We're ready for water supply.
Command Engine 54, I'm clear. Command Engine 10, you clear to send the water?
10's clear, water's coming. Engine 7, command.
Command Engine 7.
Confirming you wanted the line off of engine 10 or off of engine 2?
Off of Engine 2, the attack bumper. Command to Engine 2 for a can report.
Engine 2 command. We got high heat. No needs at this time.
Battalion 2 to Battalion 5.
Command to Battalion 2, go ahead.
I'm on the scene, sir. I'm looking for you.
Okay, I'm clear, Battalion 2. You're on the scene. I'm going to need you to assume Alpha Division.
Strike 19, command. We're pulling up on scene before you have a spot for us.
Negative. Truck 19, there's not going to be any aerial access here. Just go ahead and stage your apparatus out of the way. Report on deck, Alpha side.
This isn't real time. This is all this traffic sped up. I don't know how much time it actually passed at this point, but it's a few minutes of actual recording, but probably, I don't know, 7 or 8, 9, 10 minutes, I don't know, on the fire ground. So I want to just, put that out there so that everybody that's listening is not like, wow, like this is just bang, 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 one after another. It's because they've, pushed it all together. But, so command, gives that company the assignment to stretch a backup line, told them where to stretch it from. And, the company wasn't necessarily clear on which company to get that line from. So they just came back and asked the question. So, that kind of comes back to that crew resource management piece and everybody being part of the game. And like, if you don't know, ask, but it also, lends itself back to that using the order model to make sure that the task location and objective was clear in the first place. And in this case, the company did exactly what they should do. If they weren't sure on what the assignment was, then just ask. And then it was just, he cleaned it right up. And then other companies are starting to arrive. So, there was no aerial access. So, command just told them, hey, park your truck out of the way and, send your resource to Alpha side on deck. And, the whole on deck piece of getting that resource moving forward. So you have them in place as that tactical reserve for that 2 deep deployment. And they're bringing their air transfill equipment, bottles, all that. So the incident commander at this point is setting it up so that he can sustain and maintain, this fire attack in a multi-family apartment complex.
And when you look at like a fire attack, it's just standard fire attack, like a first alarm or bigger, where you're going to use, I don't know, more than 6, 8 companies. And the front end of that, you can tell they're IC1 and IC2 is setting up the infrastructure with the apparatus. So when you take it over, IC2 isn't moving trucks. They're in the place they need to be. So if you step back from it and look at the whole incident operation, that initial group gets there, they put their rigs where they need to be, where you can access them for best use and outcome. And then, like you said, you don't know how long this is you've got all this stuff happening, bam, 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 right after each other because the way they sent you the tape. But it could be happening over 10, 15 minutes. Well, an hour later, this fire is probably over. And if you look at the first in apparatus where they put them, they're still in those places. So that's the first 5 minutes driving the next 5 hours. So that's why it's so important in the front end of that thing that we just follow IC1's incident action plan. Because that's what tactics are, is I'm taking all these divergent, separate task level units and I'm putting them together to make them more effective. So, and you heard it, is in Alpha, you ended up with your first attack team. So when you're making your first tactical boss, they sent whatever battalion that was to Alpha.
Battalion 2 to Alpha, yeah.
Yep. So now you're starting to group companies, and now you've got supervision at the point of attack. So strategically, that's the way you maintain effective span of control and everything else. And as we said, kind of in between the radio traffic here, is every place that does blue cards got to customize it to their local place. So the deployment, the number of companies you have, the time it takes to get them to the scene, what you call things. He says it's 2 in front, 3 in back, or whatever that means something to them. It took me a minute to figure it out because I don't live in a hilly area. We're all flat, slab on grade. So just those kind of things. He says that means something to everybody else coming in. Mm-hmm. So it reinforces it when you train together this way. So now they're meeting ahead of these fires and figuring out this is the best way to do this. So you've got a plan that you execute at the time of the fire then that's kind of in your back pocket. And I think one of the powers of Blue Card is the staging piece, the break, is so we go from a responding mode to the incident scene, and before you get to the incident scene, you have to stage to give the IC a chance to assign you. So you just keep stacking people in the places they need to be to support whatever's going on.
Yeah, sometimes you make one move and it takes the place of 3 moves you would have had to make later. Right?
Exactly.
It's organized instead of just throw it into there. That didn't work. Now I have to try to fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's times during my career where, like, you would start off with an offensive deal and then, like they're doing here, and say, okay, that didn't work for whatever reason. It's typically not our fire. We just got there and it was defensive. We just didn't know it yet and figured it out. Okay, the fire's doing X, Y, and Z. But there were times we'd have to redo them. We'd have to rearrange the apparatus to do a defensive attack because you got a different piece of equipment in that you'd been waiting for, whatever it was. So sometimes you got that going on. But in a case like this, where it's pretty straightforward structure, when the initial companies take the right action, it tends to, we've all worked on those trucks, the first in unit, when you were parked in the right place, and remember how long it took to get all your gear back. Sometimes you never did. Your truck at the end of the incident is stripped. There's not a piece of equipment, hose, or anything on it. You think, oh my God, they've used us.
We'll be back in service tomorrow.
Yeah, sometimes. So that always made C shifts so mad.
Commander Squad 7.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it looks like we vented through the roof on the second floor. If you guys could go up there and open up, utilize 7's second attack line, hit some of that fire in the attic.
Squad 10, sir.
Command to Engine 10, can report status of the search.
Engine 10 search. We're continuing to go through this fire force. Engine 10 to command. We've linked up with the host team. We've searched as far as we can right now.
Command's clear, Engine 10.
Radio to command.
Command radio.
Can you advise if PD is needed?
Negative.
Tower.
Battalion 2 to command.
Command Alpha Division, go ahead.
Looks like we got a civilian injured on the B Bravo building toward the back. Looks like he's got some difficulty breathing. I don't know if we have a unit available to assist.
Yeah, that's affirmative. Rescue 30 is assigned to medical. Commander Rescue 30, you clear on that traffic?
Clear.
Commander radio, make sure we have an ambulance en route.
Tower.
Command to Engine 7, can report.
We're getting a line charge right now. It's up on the second floor. No need to be time.
Okay, I'm cleared. You've got significant fire broken through. Looks like about center of the building. We'll be in unit number 7 from my vantage point.
Truck 4, command.
Command to truck 4.
Yeah, I've got a new development back here. We can get the truck in. We'll be back here on the rear. I need a pumper. Supply truck 4. We should be able to get some water on it from there.
Okay, truck 4, I'm clear on that. Let's work on that. That'll be our backup plan. I'm hoping Engine 7 is going to be able to get in here and get a handle on this pretty quickly. But go ahead and start moving in that direction.
Just some good communications there. You can tell what's going on. You know, command tells everybody, hey, we just had some fire break through the roof. Had a company that was operating, got a company up into that attic space. You know, they're still trying to catch up with it, right? They're definitely not getting ahead of it, but they're still trying to catch up with it. That Engine 10 keyed up, you know, for their can report, said, you know, they'd gotten an all clear basically of all the space. They'd caught up with the engine company and they couldn't get anywhere else. So it was that strategic incident commander. It sounds like that engine had searched all survivable space at that point. So that's one of those objective check mark things, right? That are we still in that life safety green, risk a lot to save a lot, or are we starting to get that mindset of transitioning to we're into the yellow, property conservation, trying to save property. And with that said, you know, the information of we got fire through the roof, and it's like, well, they're not giving up, but they're also made that decision now that they're starting to make that plan B. So we heard that on there that ladder 4, they found an area that they can actually get into. They're on the Charlie side. If you can get us an engine, we might be able to get some water on it from the Charlie side. So it wasn't like right now, but that was the plan B. And the incident commander even says that, you know, hey, go ahead and get set up so that we have that plan B, because sitting in the car, we've been in that position before. We know where it's going. We're just not there yet. So let's get that set up so that we can, you know, be ready for what if it goes in that direction.
Well, and you said it earlier, is he assigned enough companies to the attack to say, okay, if we're going to put it out, we got the people there to do it now. He's waiting for his engines to come back to give him CAN reports that they've got the fire and all that. So like you say, he's got all that covered, and now plan B is starting to unfold with later arriving companies, if you will.
Truck 4, if you can send a pumper to the corner of Osborne and stay in town.
Okay, I don't have an available engine. I'm going to have to call you one. Commander radio, start me another engine for this location. Emergency.
Tower.
Engine 55 is clear response. Alpha Division of Command.
Command Alpha Division.
All right, I've got truck 4 here with 4. We're going to need some help on the second floor, hooking the ceiling down. They're not getting any effective water on it just yet.
Okay, I clear. I'm going to send you truck 19. Commander truck 19, you clear on that report to Alpha Division.
I've got them here. I'm deploying them to the second floor to assist with fire attack hooking.
Okay, I'm clear. You need any other resources?
Squad 7 is up. Any pressure.
Command to attack pumper. Squad 7's advising they need more pressure on that second crosslay.
10-4.
Radio to command.
Commander radio.
10-minute benchmark.
Clear 10 minutes.
54 to command.
Command to 54.
Search has been completed on all units except for the 2 fires.
I'm clear. Search has been completed on all units except the 2 fire units. Command at 54. Just confirming you're out recycling.
10-4, we are out.
Okay, clear.
Division Alpha, calling command.
Command to Division Alpha.
Who is your initial attack unit in the at the main body of fire?
Engine 2 on the first floor.
Okay, who's on your second floor?
That'll be Engine 7 and Squad 7.
Engine 10, search the command.
Last unit.
Engine 10.
Go ahead, Engine 10.
I checked nothing found on the primary.
Okay, I'm clear. Break. Commander radio, we have an all clear.
Time, we're all clear.
Squad 7 to command.
Commander Squad 7.
Hey, we need another line.
Okay, I'm clear. You need another line on the second floor. Break. Command Alpha Division.
Go ahead, command.
From my angle, looks like we need to pull out. We've got significant fire through the roof. How do you advise?
I think we need that second line up here. They can operate in that apartment to the left with some relative safety here. It's just running on us. They don't have enough to get it.
Okay, we'll give it a shot.
Juan, just to back up a second, the incident commander clearly is using a tactical worksheet and has a really good idea of where companies are operating and had on his tactical worksheet who was available, because there was no question about any command to whatever company, what's your position or function or what's your location or what are you doing? There was none of that. And there was, when a company needed to be assigned, he knew who the next person was. So it was an immediate assignment to get people placed. So that's that strategic level accountability piece. And we talk about 3 levels of accountability: strategic, tactical, and task. And the alpha boss there, ended up coming back just trying to verify who was working where, because there were a lot of stuff had happened, and he was just really getting into place at that point. So like, just let me know who was where and who did you have where, so that I can really be the tactical boss. And the strategic IC just rattled it right off to him. This is who's where, what, and all that. And then, the strategic IC then came back, probably after looking at his tactical worksheet, of asking that company, are you out to recycle? I'm just verifying you're out to recycle. It's that whole, just verifying exactly what's going on. That's that strategic IC's role, is that bigger picture, what's going on. And now by now he's passed on to Alpha, those other companies that are working for Alpha on that, second and third floor space. And so then we got, we got a priority traffic piece there. They already knew they had fire in the attic, but that company, just listening to the radio, you could tell they weren't winning, right? So they called for an additional hand line. Command had already said, a few minutes earlier, hey, we had fire through the roof. And then command calling Alpha just to, talk back and forth of, what do you think? And Alpha saying, hey, I think they can operate in this space. And, command says, okay, we'll give it a shot. And again, you've been in that position, and command was already ready to pull the trigger, but was like, okay, we're still in an okay place, and Alpha is in a better place than me to maybe see what's going on. But we all know what's coming very soon. It's over. We're not going to save anything here. And I'm getting really close to being out of resources because I'm into that transmission of they're into their recycle. So they're into that. They've had a 15-minute work cycle. They're not getting ahead of it and likely not going to get ahead of it at this point. So it's using the system, make decisions at the incident, not we're going to keep trying to solve this problem when we're going to have the same outcome no matter what.
Well, and I think one of the, you could tell at that point the IC is getting ready to go defensive, and he's getting ready to make that call. And then he's got a tactical boss, an alpha, who says, hang on, we're getting another company in. We're going to get the ceilings down. We'll get ahead of it. We'll cut it off. We'll do our thing. Well, the reason he stayed with it is because of that tactical boss. Mm-hmm. He's managing a span of control. So now he's got somebody at the point of attack who's not physically involved in it. They're standing in the front yard who's saying, yeah, take your hooks, that line, go up there and do this. Who's evaluated it closer, like you say, because he's closer to it. So that gives the IC the ability to say, okay, we'll stick with this and see if we can do that. Maybe that'll work. But the beauty of structural firefighting is you're going to know in less than 2 minutes if that's what's going to work. And I have not heard any of this tape, but I am guessing what happens next. See, so it's all standard. Mm-hmm. It's a standard thing. And you said it, the IC has got his shit together. He knows where everybody is, what they're doing, and now he's learning, okay, this is where the fire is, because it's in all these goddamn concealed spaces. So I got companies that are discovering, we've searched it. The biggest thing is he came back with an all clear. So the life safety piece is done. Now all we're doing is trying to save an apartment building. Not all we're doing. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. And if they're going to save it, it's that fire department right now that's going to save it. That's the only thing keeping that thing up. They didn't put a sprinkler system in. They built it. Nobody gave a shit then, and now it's our problem. So we're doing the best we can with what we got.
Command to engine 54.
54, go ahead.
Let's pull an additional line off the attack bumper. Take it to the second floor. Meet up with Squad 7. You'll be working for Division Alpha.
54 is clear.
Engine 55 is on the same.
Tower.
Command clear. 55. Clear on supplying truck 4.
Negative. Go ahead and say that again. You want us to supply truck 4?
That's affirmative. You're going to be supplying them. I believe they're located on the Charlie side.
Truck 4, command.
And the truck 4.
We're hooked right now just straight to the hydrant. We can see what we can do with it right now if you'd like.
We still got units working there. We checked with Alpha Division. Break. Command Alpha Division, how do you advise?
All right. The other line is making entry here into a clear apartment. We don't have much longer, I don't think.
Okay. Command Truck 4, let's just hold off for a second.
10-4, you got 2 that can go for an assignment right now if you need it.
Okay, let's just hold tight.
Command.
Command the last unit.
Yeah, this engine 7. We need to pressure on this line back down a little bit.
I'm clear. Command to attack bumper, you clear back down the pressure on the engine 7's line.
10-4, I got you.
Metro to command, we're on scene. Where do you want us?
Command to Metro, find Rescue 30. They've got a patient for you.
10-4, we're entering on Osborne.
Division Alpha, command.
Command Division Alpha.
All right, the fire's passed us on both fronts. We're going to have to pull the plug. Pull them out.
Okay, I'm clear. Command to radio, give me emergency traffic.
10-4, emergency traffic.
Command to all units operating on the fire ground on Osborne. We are switching to a defensive strategy. All units evacuate the building. All units evacuate the building. Stand by for a part report. We're going defensive. All units evacuate the building. Command to Truck 4.
Truck 4, go.
And once we have everybody out, we're going to have you hit it from your angle.
Truck 4, see.
Command to all units operating on the second floor. Evacuate the building now. All units evacuate the building. We are going defensive.
Yeah, so in the beginning of that, Truck 4, they gotten a plan together, hooked directly to the hydrant. Hey, they could hit it. They told command that, but there's still companies inside, so hey, just stand by. But Truck 4 knew exactly where this thing was headed, and so did everybody else know where it was headed to. So, command gave them a shot at it. They did all the work that they could do with the people that they had available, and it was beyond what anybody there was going to control. So when Alpha comes back and says to command, it's beyond us, pull the plug, and then the strategic IC jumped right to we're changing strategies, emergency traffic. That wasn't a surprise to anybody on the fire ground. They'd said something on the radio 2 or 3 times that they were headed in that direction. And every company inside that building knew. Company officers were probably like, work harder, God damn it. Like, they're going to pull us out. Like, and
now sometimes it gets to the point where like, get ready to run. We need to be out of here now.
Yeah. So
they were all at the same fire though. The communication, and you hear it sometimes where it sounds like either the division boss and the IC or the interior companies and the division boss, they're not at the same fire, but this was a really good example of everybody looking at the fire the same way and communicating that.
And there was a bit of face-to-face traffic clearly happening that, obviously it's face-to-face, so we don't hear it. Alpha knowing where companies were and what they were doing and where they were operating and what he could see, obviously, that we don't have here with this, podcast, just listening to audio, but, we can sit here and kind of have a pretty good idea of exactly what was happening there and where it was headed and what was going on and where companies were operating. And, command coming back and saying, everybody on the second floor evacuate now. We all worked in that system, and I don't know, maybe that company was the company that's like, just give me 2 more minutes. And he just wanted to make really clear that no, it's over. We're changing strategies. Get out right now.
It's like multi-unit SIM number 2. They have multiple story apartment buildings have more in common than they don't. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing they get pars on everybody, and then ladder 4 gets to do what they showed up to do.
Yeah, so we can listen to it. I mean, let's hear it. Like, so he goes through just the companies that were inside the IDLH, and then you hear him then he changes to the whole new incident action plan. So let's.
55 Alpha to 55 Bravo. Go ahead and relocate the engine over here to truck 4 off Sandtown Road.
We're relocate 55 to Sandtown Road, truck 4.
All units stand by for a par report. Command to Engine 7.
Engine 7, par 3, Alpha side.
Command's clear, Engine 7. Command to Squad 7.
Squad 7, par 5, Alpha side.
Command to Engine 10.
Engine 10, par with 3, Alpha side.
Command to Engine 2.
Engine 2 command, we're par.
Command to Engine 54.
54, 3, Alpha side.
And command to Truck 19.
Truck 19, par 4, Alpha side.
Okay. Command's clear. Everybody's out. Truck 4, you can resume ladder operations. We'll now be in a defensive strategy.
Par 4, Chief.
Command to attack pumper. You may want to direct those civilians there in front of your pump panel out of the way. They're about to get wet.
This incident had probably 3 revisions. Yeah. They did the first attack. They thought it was on the first floor. They ended up doing a 360. Saw most of the fire was on the second floor, running up in the attic. They reinforced it up to the second floor, got on both sides of it. Thing ran both sides. IC readjusted, went defensive. Boom. All within probably 15, 20 minutes.
And they took care of a patient in the middle of all of this, too.
Yeah,
so
they managed all their
injury.
business.
Yeah.
Everything went, and parts of it you listen to and think, he could have gone through Alpha and done this, but he got pars on everybody. He managed the strategy the way they needed to do. It hug and a kiss, man.
The whole thing, people, well, what is Blue Card? Well, it's a system, really, based on the second edition of Fire Command, but it's the 8 functions of command, the evaluation critical fireground factors, 1 incident commander, and we use the strategic decision-making model. I mean, that's what it is. And then, you said it earlier, everybody has to adjust it to make it fit their deployment, their area, their terminology. And it doesn't sound exactly the same as it does, Cobb County, Georgia doesn't necessarily sound like Las Vegas, Nevada. But you can tell that they're all using the functions of command. You can tell that they're evaluating critical fireground factors. You can tell that they're making decisions. They have accountability on all 3 levels. I mean, there's a plan and a system. So, I mean, that's what it really comes down to. So I love when we get audio and that we can share it and, highlight fire departments and give good examples of what, real fire departments going to real fires are doing out there in the street.
Blue Card is a system that makes our tactics as effective as we can make them. That's what it is. One of my kids used to be a boxer. And in the gym she worked out in, there was a sign that said, lead with speed and follow with power. And that's what they did in Georgia that day. They led with speed, and when that didn't do it, the ladder 4 showed the fire power. They executed their plan. So, and really that's what it is. It's firefighting school. That's all Blue Card is. You wouldn't want a paramedic to show up and start treating you or a member of your family that hadn't gone to paramedic school. I mean, that's what we do. That's all this is firefighting school, really. It's we take what firefighter 1 and 2 is and what those task level evolutions look like, and then we manage them so that becomes tactics that we control strategically. It's pretty simple. It just makes you more effective. That's what it does.
All right, timeless tactical truth, and this one is the 4 of clubs. The name of the IMS game is helping internal and external humans be safe, successful, and connected with their own empowered control. I love this one.
Wow. That's almost religious.
Yeah. We've dealt with this. I'll start on this one. I usually bounce it to you guys, but we just talked to our officers this week and said, you are empowered, because we go on a lot of auto aid. And sometimes, as well-intentioned as ICs or division bosses might be from other agencies, ultimately, our officers are empowered to keep their people safe. I mean, that's first and foremost. And if they're given either a task, which they've been talking a lot of, our folks have been talking a lot about flow paths lately, and where orders are given that will create a flow path situation. We still have some departments that are taking windows without application of water, and those kind of things. And we told them, hey, as a lieutenant, as a captain, we're going to back you up 100%. If you're saying, we're not doing this.
Well, I think your article in this issue of the Fighting Fishes says that. You empower your people to do the right thing, and you have an algorithm for it. If it's this, then do it. Yeah, you have the right to make that decision as a sentient human being and a trained fire officer for our fire department.
I think the worst thing we could do is micromanage them. And, they're in the moment, they're in the dynamic situation, and we're trying to make them think. How many times have we said we want thinking officers, thinking firefighters? You got to let them think, and you got to let them make decisions, and you got to back those decisions up and empower them to keep their people safe first and foremost, but also tactically make the decisions they need to make and not second guess all the time.
We just listened to a tape of it.
When we train our firefighters, company officers, chiefs to do their job, and we give them that expectation, then we need to let them and reinforce letting them do their job. We trained you to make decisions. And I mean, and part of the problem maybe comes when we don't train people. So they don't know how to make good informed decisions, but some people are going to make some decisions and you're going to make some mistakes and there's going to be some bumps along the way. But, if you don't make any decisions, you don't do anything, oftentimes you end up with a lot of regrets. So I think it's just train them and let them be thinking firefighters, company officers, chiefs, and reinforce good behavior and, talk about other things that maybe could have gone better.
Well, and what you do is you build a system, and we would watch this when we were doing this, training to this level, where you put all the ranks in the same room. So you got the strategic, the tactical, and the task level all operating together. As you're running a sim or sets and reps or whatever it is every now and then I would stop, especially if the IC was in the other room, and say, okay, based on what's happened with these first 3 companies, where are they going to assign the next company? And about 90% of the time, they would say they're going to send them to the 3rd floor Delta N to pull ceiling. And that's where the IC sent them. So you train together like that, it all puts you on the same page. And that's where it builds the expectation. So it became easier for us because you would train together and then it was an agreement. It's like, okay, when we get to the scene, this is what we're going to do. Well, that gave you the tools to do the after action review is the boss. So now you're talking about what went right and what went wrong. There were times where people would just lie to you in the training session. Oh yeah, we'll do that every time. Well, you get to the scene, they didn't do that. And you say, hey, and now in the after action review, they're having to explain that. Well, that becomes very uncomfortable for them. And that becomes an issue of like, no. This wasn't a mistake you made. Is you just lied to the group of us. So that is unacceptable. Well, that changes a little bit. And now I'm not trained right, I'm a liar. Well, that becomes a different deal. So the group tends to enforce itself that way. And we've been kind of talking about that the last few days as cultures and shit like that. But the culture would take care of it at that point. So if you said you were going to do something, that was the strongest thing that you could do in our system. I said I would do it, I'm going to do it. So, and that's what we would hold each other to. And sometimes as a boss, you say, hey man, I screwed that up. I thought it was this and it wasn't, it was that, and my bad. So it works both ways.
We'd like to thank Cobb County, Georgia for sharing this incident and allowing us to learn and break down the different elements of great radio traffic on a rapidly changing fire scene. If you have radio traffic that you would like to submit to us for us to share with others, you can upload that on the B-Shifter site if you're an instructor. Just go to Instructor Uploads on your dashboard. If you're not an instructor, you can still submit it. That information is in the show notes. Simply email Josh or I, and we'd love to have your radio traffic on. Until next time, we really appreciate you listening. Thanks for listening to B-Shifter. Please be safe.